Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Susie, and I have upcycled many rolling pins over the years. I've decoupaged, I've stamped, I've stenciled, and I have put transfers on them. And the reason being is the rolling pins that I upcycle sell every single time. So lately, when I've been at the thrift store, I've been collecting some rolling pins, and I've got quite the little hoard of them here. And in today's video, we are going to go ahead and make them over. Specifically, we are going to be stamping all these rolling pins. Now, to start with here in our first project, I did pick up these little mini rolling pins at Hobby Lobby when they were half off. I think they ended up being $2.99 for a 3-pack. I'm going to do these up into sets of 3 and sell them together. And for the first one here, I am using French eggshell, painting the center of it with the French eggshell. Once it is dried, we are going to use the Antiquities stamp from IOD on these. I love this stamp set. It's got all these little images that you can use on your smalls. And the best way to stamp a rolling pin, of course, is to roll it. But now that can be tricky from time to time. You have to have a very steady hand and apply the same amount of pressure all the way around. I don't get it perfect every time, by no means. So many times I have to repaint and start over. Luckily, these small ones are pretty easy to work with, so I didn't have a problem with this one. Once I got it stamped, I am going to paint the handles black. I'm going to do black on all the 3 handles on this one. Now, the Fusion paint that I'm using does have a built-in sealer, so I do not need to seal this. And the IOD ink that I use is also permanent, so it's not going anywhere once it is dried. For the little second rolling pin, I'm going to use this beautiful muted pink called Rosewater. I'm just using all pastels on these. I thought that that would be a nice contrast with the black handles and the stamps. So once that paint is dried, we're going to do the little piggy stamp from the Antiquities. I do have a tip when you are stamping. Once you are done, go ahead and use a baby wipe and clean your stamp up then. It does keep them new and keeps all the ink gunk off of them. For the last one of this set of 3, I am going to do the inside with Chateau and again the handles with black. And for this one, I'm going to use the Miss Priss baking powder stamp. I love the little kitty on this stamp, and I think it's going to be so cute on this rolling pin and very fitting. If you have some rolling pins or anything that you would like to upcycle, all of the Fusion paints and the IOD products are available on my website, susieonthefarm.com. I think these turned out pretty cute. I am going to go ahead and distress the handles on them just to bring back some of that natural wood underneath. And then I'm just going to tie these up with a little ribbon, and these are good to go. I think they're so cute, and I love how they turned out, and the colors go so well together. For the next rolling pin, I am going to do a tried and true. I've used this stamp set many times on rolling pins, and it is definitely one of my favorite and sells really well. So I'm going to go ahead and paint the inside of this rolling pin with Victorian lace, just a bright white, and I'm going to use the birds and bees stamp. I love how this stamp set is even arranged on the backing, so unless I'm just doing one individual one, I just leave them right on there. And this one always turns out pretty darn good. I'm going to go ahead and paint the handles with Carriage House, just like a darker green color. And once this one is dried, it is all ready. Now, I do have a question. I did not paint the ends on this one. I've noticed that most people, when they upcycle rolling pins, they do not paint the ends. And I think I'm going to go back and paint it just because I usually do. It can get a little tricky painting the ends of it and not getting any on the handles if the handles are pretty close to it, but usually I can get it worked out. I just think it looks kind of unfinished, or maybe I'll just go back and be sure to sand that where you really can't see the line, just make it more distressed at the end. What do you guys think about this stamp set on the rolling pin? Be sure you leave a comment below. Even any kind of comment or like helps YouTube share out my video, and I appreciate that very much. So for the third rolling pin, this one's really big, and the whole time I had a vision for this one to be kind of like English toile, and I definitely wanted to use a different color ink. So I'm going to use the Rule Scene stamp. Again, I'm just going to leave it on the backing. I do like the way it's arranged on here, and I know that my rolling pin's not going to get it all, so I'm only going to ink up the center part that I know is actually going to fit on the rolling pin. And I'm using the China Blue ink. You can't see it going on, but I love this blue color. It's very vibrant, and I just think that it just makes this rolling pin. And I do love this stamp too. It turned out really great. I'm going to paint the handles in a blue color. This is a new to me fusion color called Liberty Blue, but I thought that it was the most fitting to go with these handles. Real quick before we get started on the next project, I want to invite you guys to join the Susie on the Farm Inspiration Group on Facebook. I want to see what you guys are creating, and I would love to have you share your projects. And if you have a YouTube channel, maybe you could share out your link so everyone can follow you. So we're going to do another set of the little mini rolling pins, and I decided to do this on the natural wood. I am not sure if I really love how these turned out, but I think that they're interesting and different. This is the Franz transfer, and I'm using the New Grass ink. I'm sorry, it's a stamp, not a transfer. I have used this stamp set many times on pillows, on towels, just all kinds of things. I love ferns. They're one of my favorite plants. And so I'm just going to take a few of these fronds and roll them onto the little rolling pins. Now, I think I absolutely could have stopped there, maybe painted the handles or something, but I did do another step, and that's the step that I'm not sure. I really wanted these to look somewhat primitive. So once the ink had dried, I used some dark wax on these. For the first one, I used just straight dark wax, and I realized immediately that was kind of a mistake with this natural wood. I should have clear waxed it first, but that's okay. If you have dark wax on your project and it's too dark, you can still take some clear wax and use it as somewhat of an eraser. It helps bring some more of that off. I love how these are looking right now on this camera. Maybe I shouldn't have put any wax on them at all, but I got the candles painted black, and here's where I'm going to put the dark wax on, and it really makes them look very primitive which is a good thing too. Primitive seems to sell pretty well for me. So I'm just putting on the dark wax and then wiping it back, and then you'll see the next ones. I'm going to clear first and erase some of that dark wax on the first one. Then I'm just going to tie these together with some twine, and I think that they actually turned out pretty cute. What do you guys think about these more primitive little ones? Hopefully they will sell. This next rolling pin is called a French rolling pin. It has no handles, but that doesn't mean it cannot be upcycled. I'm going to paint this one with Champness. This is a Fusion all-in-one paint. It has a built-in sealer, so once it's on there, I don't need to do anything else. I did do 2 coats on the entire rolling pin, and then we're going to use a really good background stamp. This is Kindest Regards. This and Le Courrier are great for doing backgrounds. For this one, I'm using the stone gray ink. You cannot see it on the stamp. You think you don't have any ink on there, but I promise you do. It's just a very light gray, and it is a perfect backdrop for transfers or anything. So I'm rolling this entire thing up. There was some spots on the end where it was a little bit longer, so I just took the ends and rolled them over as well. And I was just going to stamp in this video, but I have so many transfer scraps that I need to use up. I'm trying not to open any new transfer packs until I use a lot of my scraps. This was from the Floral Anthology, I believe. So I'm just going to take some pieces of these flowers and randomly put them on this rolling pin. I want to tell you also that you can layer your transfers. Like you can see where that yellow flower has been cut off some there. That's no big deal. You can't always see the entire flower in nature. So I'm just going to take another little scrap piece and stick it right over the top of the edge of that flower where it just looks like it's behind another flower. After you get your transfers on, you want to take the plastic backing and burnish it in. That's just rubbing all the edges, making sure everything makes really good contact with your surface. So I'm just going to put a few more little transfers on here to fill up this rolling pin, and then it's done. This rolling pin, again, has no purpose. You can't use it to actually roll your food or any of these for that matter. But they look so cute, styled up in a crock with some other utensils. They're perfect kitchen decor for any kind of home. Fusion paint is permanent. The transfers still need to be protected just a little bit. Not that this is going to be used, of course, but someone might want to wipe it down with a damp cloth if it gets really dusty, and the wax just helps in that. So I love how this little rolling pin turned out. We have one more to go, but don't forget to leave a comment below letting me know which rolling pins was your favorite in today's video, and let me know if you like this kind of video where I do one type item. I do have multiples of a lot of things, and I'm thinking that this is a great way to get them all upcycled. So moving on to the last stamp set. This is called Bella. And I love this stamp set. I think it would be beautiful, like even on a bathroom floor or something like that. It's just a really, really pretty ornate stamp. So I know that it's not all going to fit. So I'm going to take all the side stuff off and just leave that center part. Anytime you're using a stamp set for the first time, you do want to take a piece of 220 grit sandpaper and just lightly scuff it to give the ink something to grab onto. Now, this rolling pin ended up giving me fits. I think I redid it 3 or 4 times, and I'm still not completely satisfied with it. Sometimes that's just how it goes. So this would have been absolutely perfect if the image met up like I wanted it to, and for some reason, the rolling pin must not have been really straight because I could not get that center part to stamp. So I ended up just taking the image in the middle out and trying just doing that. And I still had problems. It would not transfer. But I did finally get enough of it done where I think it will be okay. Or I did when I was doing this video when I was filming it. Now that I'm editing it, I can tell y'all right now, I'm going to go back and I'm going to paint this sucker white and do a different stamp. Because for some reason, this one just did not want to work out. So at this point, if your ink is still somewhat wet, you can take a baby wipe and wipe it off. So I wiped it back. I painted another quick coat, let that dry. I'm going to try it one more time. I took it off of the cardboard that I was working on and put it directly on the table. And that was when I was able to finally get the full thing transferred. But I love this stamp set. And if I could stamp it perfect, it would be so beautiful. What do you guys think? Do you think I should redo this one? It is very rustic looking, and once I distressed the handles, it looked okay, but I think I'm still going to have to go back and redo it. I've had so much fun upcycling all of these rolling pins. I've been needing to get them done for a while. I hope that you guys have enjoyed this video, and don't forget, this Friday, I'm going to have a special video. It is the IOD Spring Collection new release. I'm going to show you guys all the products and a few things that I was able to get done with it in the short amount of time that I have. Leave a comment below. I hope that you're subscribed. I would love to have you as my YouTube family, and I'll see you guys again on Friday this week. Have a great day.